Welcome back. Happy New Year. It's 2022. Echo, what's up?
Everybody. Yo.
Yo.
2022, baby. Let's do it.
Dude, we're a little bit late. New Year's already kicking our asses as far as busy schedules. So here we are, midway through the first month of the year, January, and episode 6. Welcome, listeners. Welcome all. Sorry for the delay, the break. That won't be happening again. So, no. Miscommunication.
A little scheduling snafu there, but we unfucked ourselves, and here we are.
We did. Unfucked ourselves, we did. Past tense. So, yeah, now we're here, episode 6. We got some good shit for you today. We wanted to do a couple shout-outs, so I'll let you kick it off, Echo.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to the Warfighter Director. It's a pretty cool Discord where there's like a bunch of different orgs chilling. So if you guys want to come hang out with some other orgs and look at getting into, I don't know, some org-on-org battles, or just looking for information, or just you're like a couple of dudes or by yourself, and you just want a couple of cool people to play with, come on over to the Warfighter Directorate. Awesome place. Super, super cool place. We'll put the link for that somewhere. If you're listening on Spotify, figure it out. I don't know. But if you're on YouTube, we'll put the link in the description. I also wanted to shout out some orgs that are in there, some really cool people. If you guys are looking for some specific orgs.
Sorry to interrupt. Some of these dudes are part of the Warfighter Directorate. It's like a union for warfighters. Yeah. So these are, Sorry, go ahead. That was all I had to say.
No, that's, perfect segue. So obviously you guys heard us talk about the Mighty Eighth before. Awesome dudes, really, really, really scary in the air, especially with a hammerhead. Like, it's insane. So their RSI link will be in the description, so you can check them out or come on over to the Warfighter Directorate. Also want to give a shout out to the Omni Astra Court. Oh my gosh, it just words. 2022, everybody. Omni Astra Corporation. There we go.
Hell yeah.
Cool dudes. Their main focus is logistics, but they get down on the ground and tussle too. So check them out. And then a newer group of dudes we found, dudes and ladies, excuse me, which the Mighty Eighth, I think, just had a really good interaction with them in an org v org event, which is the UE Pathfinders. Mm-hmm. Super cool dudes. I know that we've had some words about milsims, but as far as milsims go, it seems like they're kind of doing it right. They've got it kind of nailed down. So if that's your thing, definitely check them out. Well, again, RSI links in the description. And then if none of that is really your style, we got something else for you. The Fremen Pirate Order. Cool bunch of dudes. They're actual pirates. I was actually reading through their Discord the other night, and like one of the main things in their information was like, hey, we're here to pirate, which they have a definition for, but like griefing and like ruining people's time just to ruin it is not their definition of piracy. So if pirating's your thing and you are willing to, extort and actually use the tools within the game to be an actual pirate, give them, go check them out. See what they're all about.
I think peg legs and parrots are required with them too. So
all day, yeah. Well, the one last shout out I want to do before we move on with the podcast is Citizen Akira. Awesome guy. Takes phenomenal in-game pictures, and his Instagram is just chocked full of just incredible stuff. And if you haven't seen it or you don't know who he is, go check out his Instagram. It's Citizen_Akira. On Instagram, dude. Awesome stuff. Cool guy too. Like, we know him from previous engagements. Super nice guy. I guess maybe I should. He's tough and gruff. I don't know. He's a cool dude. He's an awesome guy to talk to and play with. So, yeah. Go check out his Instagram. Awesome images there. Give him some love.
Yeah. You can find us on Instagram as well too, and we are always gawking at Citizen Akira's photos. He has some really awesome screenshots. So I'm actually going to message you, Akira, if you're listening. I might hit you up so we can use some of your images for our podcast thumbnails and so on and so forth. But if you guys are looking for orgs to join, all the ones we listed, the links will be below. You can go see what they're all about. If we are interacting with these orgs, we have vetted them to some degree, enough for us to be shaking hands across the aisle or going against them in PvP, teaming up with them like OAC, the Omni Astra Corporation. They are considered an adjacent unit to us now because they're infantry guys. They know how to fuck. Same thing with the Mighty Eighth. We've been in cahoots with them, and they are officially our taxis, and they keep us nice and safe and warm and fuzzy.
And the sky's clear.
And the sky's clear. Oh my God.
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to somebody from a different organization that's come across the Mighty Eighth and just went, holy fuck. Yeah. That was wild.
Dude, they own the skies.
So really cool. Yeah, dude.
They hold their own as well, just as better than anybody I've seen. So that's our humble opinions, okay? Go check them out if you're interested, because you cannot go it alone in the universe. Well, you can. You're just limited on what you could do. So if you're looking for big-time shit, it's better to have some homies with some guns or some nice ships.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, dude, nice shout-outs, man. Those guys are great. I love all of them. And we're looking forward. Dude, newest is UEE Pathfinders. We're looking forward to starting a relationship with them, but we are scheduled to do some PvP. But from what we've seen and the interactions we've had, top-notch guys. And they have some cool lore behind them. So
yeah, very cool lore. Like super cool stuff. So go check all those orgs out. Even if you're not interested, just give them a look, man. They're cool stuff. cool stuff.
Damn, it's a good time to be a Star Citizen player. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, can you? Fuck yes.
Especially with what's on the docket for 2022, like a lot of good shit coming out. I've only glanced at it. I mean, is there something that's standing out with you? You're looking for 2022, like you're excited for a feature or something?
Yeah, FPS scanning, the ability to. Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic, right? Because it's not just the infantry to infantry scanning; it's also the air to ground scanning, right? So now the days of you running in undetected as an infantryman from the sky, like that's gone. That's good. That could potentially be gone. So you're going to have to rework your tactics. You're going to have to rethink how you get from a drop zone to the objective, or to the objective, right? Like it's really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's.
How about you?
Well, I think we chatted about it, and that's what I'm most excited for is in the category of more FPS tools. That's it. And so I'm excited to see that one's on the docket. There's a couple more that I was thinking about with the mining tools, where you can place that like device on the rock and it'll help you out. If they can translate that into door breaching and other tools like that, I'm just like, that's what I'm most hopeful and excited for with 2022. But I kind of segues. You were talking about rethinking how you get to an objective, how you stay hidden on the objective. I think we both wanted to talk about patrolling today.
Yes. Right? Yes. Super important and often, like 99% of the time, often overlooked by gamers as a valuable tactic.
Mm-hmm. Because it's boring as shit. But it is.
It's 100% boring.
It's actually, if you're doing it right, it's actually cool. It's really immersive. But yeah, if you're a clickle pixel, man,
2022 got you too, huh?
Damn, dude, I'm not even drunk. If you're a pixel clicking motherfucker, that's what I was trying to say, and you like the action, you pride yourself on your FPS skills, and you only like to peek corners and pop skulls and stuff, like maybe Star Marines for you, but in the PU. Those skills are important, but they take a back seat in a lot of other skills. And it's basically like infantry rifleman skills that you need to operate as a group in the PU. And patrolling is huge.
You take something like a Star Marine, and it's a very individual-based game mode, right? Like you, the individual, have to be very highly skilled in order for you to contribute to your team. But in the verse, you don't have to be the best pixel clicker to be an effective team, right? Whereas in the PU, the teamwork is more important than the individual actions.
Right. And that we've said it before on the podcast, being in the right place at the right time with the right equipment is what matters. Because every one of us can operate a P4 rifle in the game. It's like every other first-person shooter you've ever played. Even if it's not your style, you can still click a mouse and aim correctly. Mm-hmm. Being better at that is always good, but I would prefer being in the right place at the right time with the right equipment and having more people there.
I would even add one onto that. What? With the right people.
With the right people. Hey, there you go. Yeah, because that's right. If you're trying to set an ambush and you bring a guy with a hay fever allergy,
Right.
and right before you're about to drop the hammer, he's like, chill. And then they're like, oh shit, it's an ambush, right? And your effectiveness just went down. So
Yeah.
whatever that translates into gaming, more often than not, it's some cuckold just like, no, I'm going to do it now. Like, no, wait. Too bad. Shot a
Good
missile.
discipline, right?
Yeah, too late, you know.
The ability to follow simple instructions and have some fun with everybody.
Right, yeah. And that's why it's important to practice this stuff, because we've noticed a difference, at least I have. Maybe you can agree with this, but we hang out in that Warfighter Directorate Discord a lot because it's a great place. You could meet a lot of people, get a lot of perspective and training. It's kind of like a union, a workers' union for infantry guys. It's kind of weird. So we hang out there a lot, and we meet a lot of new people, which is great. And some of them were like, okay, I don't know if we want to roll with this guy every day, right? And some of them were like, we want this guy right now. And a lot of them turn us down. They're not looking for an org. Some of them are, and they join up with us. So it's a great place to recruit or to see if people fit before you allow them into your group. And we've just noticed a big difference. We're attracting a certain type of person, and that's what Brander's Privateers will always be. And there's always orgs that will fit your thing, So it is important who you have with you if you're trying to get some serious objective, getting the objective accomplished. So that is a really good point. So anyway, patrolling. What do you think?
I think that it is what I said it was. It's an effective tool that's often overlooked. Or let me rephrase. It's an effective tactic that's often overlooked by FPS players, mostly because games don't really reward that kind of a gameplay. You have a few that do, Squad maybe, Arma, but definitely Star Citizen, right? And I mean, the times that we have done patrolling to an objective recently have paid off hugely for us, right? Like to the point where we could get in, take over Jumptown and hold it, right? Without any air power,
right?
Which says something.
Yeah, and usually an event or an objective or something in Star Citizen is happening so fast, especially a PvP opportunity. So that's why the Privateers, in some of our backgrounds, some of the other orgs we were part of before, we specialized in a rapid response. We call it DART, right? Direct Action Rapid Response Tactics. So how can we get our troopers, our warfighters, whatever you want to call them, however we can get these dudes into the fight quick as possible on the objective while it's hot? That's an awesome skill set to have, but it's not always the answer. And so we haven't really done that as much, especially with, it's all contingent upon what the objective is. Because if it's a PvP thing, it's happening like this, right? Boom, 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 boom. Where's it going on? We don't know. Got to get here at this time right now. So those tactics apply. But when you throw in an opportunity like a 48-hour event at Jumptown, a fixed location, a point of interest on a planet, and it's going on for 48 hours, like, first off, props to CIG for letting it go that long. Also, the server stabilities that we're seeing nowadays, it's like unprecedented. We kind of just gloss over it as
my hat off. My hat's off to you, CIG.
Yeah, my hat's still on, but I'll, here you go. My hat's off to you, my earphones. But yeah, so now all of a sudden we are trying to use tools that we thought would be viable, like patrolling, but we're like, the way the game is, we can't really use patrolling because it takes too long. Because when we do a PvP opportunity, like, people are online for 2 hours max, and then they got life, wife, kids, work, whatever. So, like, patrolling was usually out because of time. So now when we have a 48-hour event, all of a sudden, bing, we can patrol there and be completely undetected. So I never actually heard your experience the other day. You said you patrolled in, like, how many clicks to Jumptown?
Oh, dude, I walked something like 10. I shit you not. I have video proof of this. I walked something like 10,000 kilometers the other day.
10,000 clicks?
Between
10 clicks?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. 10 clicks, not 10,000.
I was like, whoa.
Need new boots. No, yeah, it was 10 clicks, something like 10 clicks.
Yeah, you need a new
I
keyboard.
flew in a Pisces. I did not want to get any closer than where I was. The air was just buzzing with birds, So I walked 5 clicks to the actual objective.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to take a couple of guys that were on the outside. Just they completely unsuspecting guys, just with zero situational awareness and not like scanning or by themselves or not having any backup. Those are quick kills. And then I had to walk and pick up Knock. He had died. So I had to walk another 5,000 or five clicks away.
Man, you were walking
to go get him and then come back. Yeah. It was like roughly like 15 clicks, something like that. It was wild. The terrain on the planet that we were on the moon we were on, was just god awful, but
yeah,
it was fun.
It is. It's cool. And now that like you can actually eat and drink, but actually, sorry, you can't on a patrol now because we don't have the tools for that. You can't.
No, but it seems like they've turned that off. I don't.
I think it has been. It's like really, really, really slow drain, is what it is. What I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I did the same thing not too long ago with one of the OAC members. We stealthed in with the Pisces. We ended up walking like 11 and a half clicks, and like the terrain, it just took forever. But we were able to approach and infiltrate an enemy carrack that they were using for respawns, and walked in there. It was like a ghost town. We're like, no one's in here. So we like kind of
nobody expects that.
No,
nobody thinks that dudes will spend 20 minutes of their playtime walking 10 clicks somewhere, right? Like they just nobody will do that.
No one's gonna do that.
Real but
I didn't see a ship land, so we're good. Left the door wide open.
Surprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit the self-destruct button. Also, I'd like to have a self-destruct timer that I could set, because once you set a self-destruct in a carrack and you don't have it mapped out perfectly and you don't hit you're done. So I'll put that clip up there. Yeah, you're toasted. It's a one-way street to suicide. So yeah.
I also want to bring up vehicle patrols, right? Because I mean, that's patrolling as well. And I think we used that effectively last night to take over Jumptown with superior air coverage over Jumptown.
Yeah, the
ballista. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we were in a kind of a loose vehicle formation. We were spread out.
Very loose.
Very loose. It was not a convoy, and I think it worked out better that way because we covered more terrain with like the ballista being an anti-air.
It was a happy accident, right? Like we had the bubbles of the ballistas sort of overlapping each other by accident.
Right.
So,
and
TTP, I suppose.
Exactly. It kind of showed me too that we don't use vehicles enough, because now they're pretty viable. Especially a ballista, even the Nova tank's really powerful. So that's going to be incorporated into our patrolling too, because that's just a faster patrol. And stuff that can bite back against the air is important. That ballista mainly. How many? Because you were on my gun last night. I was driving. Trying to drive a ballista on Yela is a joke, by the way. It's such low G. You like tap the gas and you hit a little bump. You're like soaring through the air.
540 Tony Hawk.
540. Yeah, 900 dark slide down the mountain.
Yeah.
But you got how many?
But
we could
so I think I got 2 or 3. I think once you took over, you got a few, right? 2 or 3. 3, I think.
2 for me.
And then we had 3 other ballistas out there that also got 4 or 5 scratches each. So like, I don't know, man. Somebody was complaining that the ballista meta, but he was in a Gladius, so I would argue that the ballista meta is a counter to the light fighter meta.
Yeah, or just don't be outnumbered meta. Maybe.
Yeah, right. Like gone are the day, like with coming against smart groups of people in Star Citizen, gone are the days that you're going to come in with a Gladius and wreck Jumptown. Like, you're just not going to do it, man.
Yeah. No, you can do it against.
You got to be smarter about
randos.
that.
Yeah, you can do it against a bunch of randos, but
this is not EVE Online. This is not build your skill list up and then like click a button. No, this it's going to take some mind power to play this game, and if you don't have that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, understanding the effective ranges of scans, understanding the effective ranges of anti-air missiles on that ballista was crucial. Just holding that trigger, you're already locked on. You're watching that Gladius 3.3, 3.2, 3.1. It's under 3K. Launch it. It's done. Like it's a launch and forget. You're like, yeah, that's good. Right. What do they call it?
And that's a,
yeah.
it goes back to, again, the basics of being on the ground, the ability to shoot, right? Understanding like what your ranges and distances are for the weapon system you're using, the ability to communicate. Hey, he's 3K from me, 4K from you. I'm taking the shot. That way we're not wasting missiles, and the ability to move, right? Traverse the planet with these vehicles and keep these bubbles and these radii so close that they are interlocking sectors of fire, right? And so I don't know, man. Like I had the last 2 days, Jumptown's not my favorite event. But the last 2 days, the coordinated attacks that we've had, I've actually had a blast doing all the coordination and shooting, moving, and communicating. So.
Yeah, and patrolling apparently.
Yes, very much.
So now, we were dogging all over the Prowler and some other dropships because they weren't viable to us in our direct action rapid response tactics, right?
Right.
We want to go in hot. Like, I mean, if you had the choice to spend your time playing a video game, would you choose to patrol or would you choose to go in hot, guns blazing? Like if it was the right answer, either or were equal, like we can do both. I would prefer to get the boys together and do a sexy drop, get it on camera. Just go in there.
Get the door guns on the Cutlass, steel going. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like perfect world,
Yeah, exactly. So like, what will give you the most advantage? Probably a patrol. There's a lot of things that have to happen in order for us to drop directly on an objective. And it's doable, and we've done it before, and we're kind of debating whether we should even put that footage on the YouTube channel because it is so fucking it's a good surprise for people. So we probably will. But anyway, patrolling, we were going to get into the basics. I had some notes here. So what's the simplest form of patrolling, right? It's walking or in a vehicle. It's just any movement across the ground, basically, from A to B, right?
For an extended period of time.
Right. Not like a couple 100 meters. That's like a movement to contact, right? If we dropped on the objective and we had to move 500 meters, we're already on the objective. Like, depending on what that objective is, it's,
Right. Well, because your mindset, even if you're patrolling, like in my mind, like 1,000, anywhere between 500 to 1,000 meters out from that objective. I mean, that's kind of where I'm starting to go, okay, I got to start looking, paying attention, understanding the layout, that kind of stuff. Right. So yeah, roughly 500 is moving to contact. Like you're ready. Guns go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Guns are up. We're spread out. We're moving towards the same point. Everyone's on line or in a formation that's advantageous to kill anyone to our front. That's called movement to contact. We've patrolled maybe through a jungle, desert, whatever the game throws at us in the future. You're in a formation that allows 360 security, maximum firepower in every direction, and you're moving the quickest as possible based on the terrain. So if it's a jungle, you probably are on a ranger file, single file line, spread out. If you're in a field, you're in some other formations, right? So that's part of patrolling too, is knowing their formations. But I would say if you're in a formation that is having 360 degrees and you're going to be walking that way for a long time, that's patrolling. And then if you change formations because you're approaching the objective, that's when your movement to contact starts. And now everyone's on.
Usually it's defined by like an objective rally point or some kind of a point on the map, which we don't have, but on a map we're pre-designated. Like once we get to this point, we're shifting gears. So
yeah, we're shifting into movement to contact. You set up a rally point for after the attack. You set up a casualty collection point, whatever's pertinent, right? You pause for a second, do a leader's reconnaissance, right? And that's when you send your squad leader up. And he takes a look at it and then says, okay, we're actually on the wrong side. We need to move. We need to patrol again. Another 2 clicks this way, another 3 clicks that way. So now we hit that objective from the right angle. So and that stuff we'll all cover on the podcast. If we lost you there on that little breakdown, just know we're talking about patrolling. So, I mean,
we're nerds, we're just different kinds of nerds.
We are, yes. So, like, I mean, you were a one-man patrol the other day when you were 10 clicks out.
Right.
So, like, ideally, you have your whole element there, or it depends on what the element is. But, I mean, what's your breakdown? You get inserted. What do you do?
So, I mean, there's 1,001 ways to skin a cat, right? It all just comes down to like planning and understanding the objective you're going to. But what I will say is that when I did do a foot patrol, I picked up Knock and Gunner, and we kind of left as we're patrolling up. After I picked those guys up, Knock and I continued forward, but we left Gunner back for observation, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, we can't see the whole field, but if we leave you here, you can see everything and you can give us updates, right? On what's, hey, watch left, watch right. There's a guy under here. There's a guy over there. I saw movement here, that kind of stuff. While we're eye level, we can see what's in front of us, but not behind shit and all that, but Gunner could. So, leaving somebody to maybe do some observation, and that person or element can then break down afterwards once you've gained a foothold, right? Maybe they stay up there. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's always smart.
Typically you want to, when you're doing a patrol, you want to break yourself into an assault, support, and security elements. With the assault obviously being the main effort to go into the objective and clear it and kill all the bad guys. Your security elements are more or less like a cordon of sorts, and depending how you set them up, you don't want people in or out of that objective, right? So if the assault guys miss it and you get what we call squirters, those security guys can pick up that stuff. And then you have the support element, which is just either observation with a long gun, or it's a machine gun that's just putting down massive amounts of fire just to get people to hide, not necessarily pinpoint accuracy fire. It's just to get people to corral people in a direction you want them to go, right? Yeah,
to stop
controlling
their egress,
fire, I guess, right?
Yeah,
right. Stop egress or stop advancement, or like there's 100, or it's either or a combination of those two, right? And you can have both of those. So,
yeah, and support can even be like your aid and litter team too. With your, that's where you keep your meta.
When the objective's good, you can call those guys down, and they can come pull your good boys off the field that need a little loving.
Yep.
Put them in a CCP. So.
Yeah, and what's cool about this, and probably the most important part of a patrol, is not the actual actions taken in the field or on the objective. It's the preparation that goes into it. And you'll hear us scream this doctrine in everybody's ear, like prep. Like if I drop a team off, I don't care how good they are. Let's say they're all those pixel-clicking motherfuckers I was referring earlier. And I say, walk from point A to B so you can get to the fight. They're like, okay. So they get there, and you can do that. Everybody can hold W on their, But what do you do during the patrol? That's all standard operating procedures. That should be drilled and trained into you before. So you're working as a team, right? So you understand everyone's role, what a formation is. That's you can do that on the fly if you have some aptitude and you're like, hey, we don't work together often, but we need to move. So you guys know how to do a wedge. Like, okay, this is how it is. You there, me there, here. Now just walk, right? You could get it done, but like it's preferably done. Like I can't even tell you how many hours in the real world, like in the Marine Corps, that an infantry squad just practices formations until you're blue in the fucking face. Yeah. Oh, you're like dying. You haven't eaten for like a day. You're just like, I want to go to bed. And your squad leader's
you're on the 144th evolution of wedge across an open danger field, and you're like, fuck my life.
And like even when we didn't have our kit and weapons, we're just walking across this like soccer field next to the barracks, just like,
I mean, the risk is greater in real life, right? Like I understand doing it in real life, like death, right? That's the thing. But in a game, right? Like, I mean, now the consequences are you lose the foothold, you lose your gear, you lose your time, right? Mm-hmm. Which I could argue is pretty important. How many times have you gotten into the game, spent 2 hours, and you haven't fucking done anything because you're just collecting gear or upgrading your ship or whatever, right? Like,
dealing with bugs,
time, right? Like, dealing with bugs. I mean, a time is a thing. So, there are reasons to want to do that, and I think while formations are highly important for their specific reasons, I think if you boil it down to its most basic components, I mean, security, right? Keeping yourself safe, moving from point A to point B, right? And the second thing is situational awareness, understanding what is going on before the objective as it's unfolding, right? Like, can you see ships in the air? Do you hear vehicles? Do you hear gunshots, right? Mm-hmm. Taking that information from your observers that are in the air, understanding like, all right, there's 2 ships here. There's a ballista. I saw 4 guys running around, right? And maybe you don't know exactly where all those things are, but as you're moving, it gives you time to sort of formulate a plan of like, okay, I need Daft with the Animus rocket launcher and Lord Vitius with the railgun to get up. when we get here and they're on fucking anti-vehicle duty, right? And so
Yeah.
The patrolling is a safe way for you to enter an objective without being seen often, but it also gives you time to formulate the plan as you start to get the picture of the objective,
and
the live picture.
Yeah, and get usually so hopefully you have some sort of element. Usually it's an air asset, but you might even have like if it's a fix. See, now we're talking more options. If CIG is creating more content for us, that is a 48-hour window on a fixed location on the ground, and there's activity on that server, you can have a recon element patrol in prior. They could be staged, ready to go. Maybe they're already on their objective with eyes on, and now they can make that call. Hey, it's actually good. It's perfect if you do a direct assault, direct action, rapid response tactic. I'm going to keep drilling that in here. I want that to stick. So if you have a reconnaissance element patrolling in and they understand those, now the game allows it because there is a fixed objective there for a fixed amount of time. So you can go in there and do it. But
I mean, this is one for one too. When bases are being built, right? When we have that ability, I think we talked about this in a prior podcast, but Jumptown is the precursor to us owning our own spaces. Because if like the Brander's Privateers owns a piece of property on Lyria and you just fucking hate the Brander's Privateers, you now can recon, you can patrol, you can set up a plan to sort of take that base over and push them off that piece of property if you want to, right? And so Jumptown's just that precursor to that, right? The difference is money, right? It's money driven because everybody wants to make money. But in reality, like if you want that piece of property and the Brander's Privateers are on it, the same principles apply.
Yeah. And those points of interest, whatever they are, whether it's Jumptown or an NPC bunker or whatever, or an actual player controlled area, it's a point of interest because of something interesting. It's usually some way to make money or some way to, increase communications. Just think about any strategic objective in a war. Like it has to matter in order for you to commit troops that could potentially lose their life. So you're trading that risk for a strategic objective, like taking out a comm array in the air. What if you could destroy it, right? Taking a comm array down. So if you know that like, hey, we have control of Jumptown right now, maybe we should put someone at the comm array. So maybe you dedicate a few dudes to ambush, lay in wait at the comm array in 0G. Or maybe you just send a couple fighters there to lock it down and just fucking blow up anybody who's in there. So yeah, it's interesting, how you can do that, but there has to be points of interest. So CIG, props to you for making a point of interest on the ground. Now we can develop these SOPs, and we realized, hey, we've gone over patrolling in our group. We have these SOPs ready to go, but now it's like we can take that and we're like, oh my god, we've prepared this. Boom, plug it right in, and now we can do it. So it's really cool to see.
If we step out from this whole tactics talk for a minute and really just talk about like the amount of gameplay that you can create with those kind of and this is why we wanted to do the podcast, right? Because we have fun creating gameplay where there isn't, and one of those ways is just practicing patrols, right? Like, yes, is it boring? Sometimes, but it can be fun. I mean, you don't have to do it for 4 hours. You can do it for 30 minutes. Like everybody's up to speed.
Yeah.
And then like Daft said, now we have that tool that we pull off the shelf. Jumptown's here. We insert that tactic and now we're using it, right? So there's a real world application for the 30 minutes to an hour over the last few months we spent doing patrolling stuff, right?
Right.
Because now everybody's on the same page. Now there's a strategic reason we want Jumptown, right? And we've created gameplay over months.
We have.
So, I mean, use it, don't use it. We're not saying we're right or wrong. We're just saying, here's some stuff that we do to make the game fun for us in the current state that it's in, right?
Yeah, totally. And like, I would even argue with people too. I mean, I never have, but I would, saying like, there's a lot of gameplay that you can do without even opening StarCitizen.exe.
Yeah,
like
there really is.
There's so much gameplay you can do. Like, for example, we've had, a reconnaissance element. Someone do that. They go in game and they fly over a point of interest or wherever we're going to be fighting or whatever we need to do, and they take photos like there's some kind of aerial reconnaissance. So then guess what? They send that to me, and I've been on a sales trip for work, and I'm like on this little Microsoft Surface, and I'm pulling out this pen, and I pull up that photo, and I'm like zooming in, drawing, right, terraining, like that's gameplay. I'm essentially playing Star Citizen without even opening it up, being at my computer, pressing WASD, clicking stuff. I'm essentially planning. So there's so much we could do that still I would consider gameplay, prepping for an individual, like sitting down and just thinking like, okay, we want everybody on the same page because we want people in the right place. We have the right people. We're playing with them. So we want the people in the right place at the right time with the right equipment. What does that equipment look like? Type it out. And then you're sitting in your Discord channel or you're guilded and you're like, okay, what do you guys think about this? And someone's like, I got a great point. And that's to me is considered gameplay. We're just masterminding over this shit all day, every day. And then there's always that one guy who knows every specification about every fucking component and every ship, and he gives you the recommendation for what ship should get you there.
Zixel, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And every group of people I've known, like in Star Citizen, they have a couple of those guys. So
yeah,
it's
you're savants, right?
Yeah.
Like
So
they're good people to have.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this: if you guys are listening to this podcast, message us, message us, give us some feedback on Reddit, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you find us. Let us know what you're pulling out. Are you pulling any of these tactics out in your own personal gameplay when you're doing solo shit? Are you using some of these organizational tools to help your group of people? Let us know. And if we're not, let us know too. Maybe we're just blowing smoke at y'all, but hey, smoke.
There's going to be at least two types of people watching this or listening to this, right? That say, well, that sounds dumb. And I would argue, like, if that's you, this is probably not the podcast for you. We're not talking about clicking pixels and scoring high KDs and like throwing your E-peen everywhere. I mean, we want the guy or gal that's listening to be like, oh yeah, okay, wait a minute. Can I, like, is that something I can use? Is this somewhere this can be applied? Like, and then like Daft said, we want to hear the feedback. Is it working for you? Right? Like, is it not? Why didn't it work for you is even more important. I just took some like a hard glass of real talk from somebody recently. And I was just like, you know what? I appreciate it was constructive, but it wasn't something that you typically want to hear about yourself, but it's nice to get that honest, unadulterated feedback, because then if what we're saying is correct or if we need to adjust it or if it's working, not only for us, but for y'all as well, because now we're doing the podcast. So it's, feedback is highly important to us, and we love and read every single comment and post and everything.
Exactly. Well said. So yeah, hopefully this has been helpful for you with patrolling. Basically, the basics of patrolling are security. Move with a purpose and cover yourself. Be secure. Formations are an excellent way to do that. We can deep dive into formations. There's a thing called dispersion, right? Understanding how to take cover, where to take cover, using micro terrain. Like, those are all things that will keep you alive. So then there's
grenade ranges, casualty versus kill, right?
Right.
It also plays into dispersion.
Yeah.
When it's a thing, Ursa's firing at you, like, how fast a turret can traverse, right? If you have that dispersion and they have to traverse between, individuals, like that's going to take a minute, which gives you a second to get behind cover or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And just understanding like how, sometimes you'll get an inexperienced gunner in a vehicle, like on a hammerhead or somewhere. Sometimes the ships have such big capacitors it doesn't matter, but on an Ursa you can overheat that gun real quick, right? So, understanding those things about the vehicles you might be in or might face, because we all use the same vehicles in the game. It's not like someone's going to throw some new technology at you in the middle of a battle. It's all stuff we know, right? So, yeah, just understanding those things preemptively are helpful. And then I can't stress the preparation, man. If you want to implement something, you want it to go smooth, have a standard operating procedure or a TTP. What's the acronym for TTP again?
Techniques, tactics, and procedures.
Procedures, yeah. They're basically the same thing. SOP, TTP.
They are. I mean, an SOP is an individual like procedure. Like, hey, listen, this is when an URSA comes up. This is what we're going to do, and you do it every single time, right? And you could have an SOP for every little, as minute as a detail as you want, up to pretty large stuff like assault. This is your job all the time. I would consider that more of a tactic than or an example of a technique would be a drop procedure, right? Like,
sure,
this is our technique. Or dart, I guess, would be another good example of that, right? A dart is our technique for hot drops, right? And our SOPs for that are, we have a drop procedure, we have, what are the jumpers doing, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they all come together to form your TTP binder or manual or whatever you want to call it, and then they're filled with different techniques and tactics and procedures that everyone knows.
And I would just encourage anybody listening, if you want to use TTPs, stick with it. If you want to use SOPs, if you want to use both, the point is
I'm not going to get here. I'm not going to get on the drop seat versus jump seat conversation here. We're not getting a little, it's a little too minutia for me,
Yeah, like what's your potato to my potato, right? Like tomato, like
they'll do the same thing right now.
They'll do the same thing.
TTPs, SOPs, doesn't matter.
Yeah, in my mind, the TTP and the SOP are the same thing, but down at a granular level, we can separate them. But I interchange them. I'm like, TTP and SOP.
Yeah, I do too. Like I could sit here and define it and like, look at Echo, he's so knowledgeable, but it is what it is, man. If you say TTP to me, I know what you'll talk.
Exactly.
Communication is nothing but taking a word and then giving it to a person in a particular way that they understand what you're fucking saying.
Exactly.
You understand what I say when I say TTP or SOP.
Yeah, and that's the point, is that we have an outline, we have a template that we follow as a group. Mm-hmm. So every individual in that group knows. They have this base layer of individual actions. I need to be doing these things as an individual. I need to be doing these things to help my team at all times. Then, as a team, you start zooming out. Then we have these templates for, we have a certain type of drop procedures that can put us on a rooftop, on area, or art corp somewhere. We have insertion methods for putting a specific sniper or somewhere on a specific thing. We have... Mm-hmm. We have those things in place, so we can get very specific on the fly, right? And I mentioned a situation again, same thing. Because we have these procedures, we ended up having a crew and a retaliator for this fun little op, and we needed a presence on the ground all of a sudden. And was like, well, we're ready. So I pulled some of the gunners off that retaliator. This is a retaliator bomber, by the way. And they staged in the torpedo bay, and we dropped them using the Tally as a drop ship. And there was a podcast recently about drop ships. We'll probably link that in the video. Maybe we'll save that for another podcast. But
I want to say, because there's a lot of good stuff.
There's
There's some things that I would like to discuss that I agree. It's not that I don't agree with it. It's just, I'd like to talk about it a little bit more.
Right. One of those things being, is the Retaliator a good drop ship? They said no. And I was like, the fuck it is. It is. It's a good one. So that's what we'll argue for another podcast. But because I had those procedures and the whole team was spun up on them, it was like, hey, prepare for drop. This is happening. They knew exactly what to do. On the fly, boom, we had 3 guys on the ground, and we were able to balance the air and the ground long enough to win that little engagement thing. It was just a little funsy onesie thing, but that procedure won it for us just because we had something spun up before. And it sounds stupid, and people laugh at us until they see it, right? And people in Arma do it, people in Tarkov do it, people in other places that are serious about winning or serious about cool teamwork, they practice, right? Just like in real life, in anything. The more you practice, the more smoothly it goes. So SOPs, patrolling.
Yep. Rehearsals and practice just allow you to get all the hiccups out, right? It just helps. Like, what do I do with my gun? Well, if you figure that out in rehearsal versus doing it live, like, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, and then when the crazy shit happens, when there's the chaos going on, you can handle it. It's great. You've done it before. You have it in your little library of memories, of actions. I mean, even just little simple shit like keeping your finger off of a mouse right? So you don't shoot your buddy. Where do you rest that finger? How do you do it? Pulling the weapons out at the right time, knowing when to reload. Like, these all matter when you're clicking pixels, right? Like, you see pro gamers doing it in Call of Duty or like Fortnite or whatever. They have developed some habits on an individual level, which is great.
Right. And at a microscopic like time, like in a microscopic time zone, that stuff still applies. When do I reload? Yes. You're not going to reload, right? You're fucking shooting somebody, right? You're going to take cover and reload. Even in Call of Duty, a pixel clicking game, right? Like that's still applicable, right? When do I move? I'm not going to move when he's shooting at me, right? Like, you still have all those things. They just happen in such a micro time frame. But in a sustained firefight, like you would normally get into in Star Citizen, or you can get into, right? Sustained being like there's contact, but it's not direct action for 2 hours straight. All those things can be extended a little bit, and you get a little bit more time to breathe and think and get that stuff out.
Yeah, and just simple things like, hey, do not peek that corner right now. What does a gamer do? Oh, let me just check it out. Let me just peek that. Headshot, you're dead. Like, don't pick the corner. Stop. Like, if you ever played Rainbow Six Siege, it's like that. And there's some moments in Star Citizen, it's like, guys, don't go in there yet. Don't go in there. Wait for the team. Wait for the team. No, I got it. Nope, you're done. Yeah. Like, and so that we've noticed stuff like that with playing with randos. You know, and it's just a great learning experience too. But when we roll with privateers, there's a lot more discipline there.
Yeah, you'll be successful with that kind of gameplay. You just won't be as successful if you don't, like, if you're doing it. You're more successful if you're doing it in a team, right? Yeah. You're more likely to get everybody out of there alive if you don't rely on yourself to take on the whole patrol or the whole mission.
So there's a thing, like, a lot of games are kills over survivability because there's no consequence. You just respawn, right? Maybe if you're playing like a capture the flag game in like Halo way back in the day, if you die, it takes you like some time. So there's a time before you respawn in. That's the penalty. So someone could use that. But, you know, in a game like Star Citizen, it's like you have to play survivability over the kill.
Yeah.
If I get this kill, am I exposing myself? Like, I know there's another guy somewhere over there in these boxes. This happens at Jump Town all the time. Someone's going for the kill. They want to get up the steps and hit the cycle in the airlock, or they want to chase that guy down. So if you have dudes watching your back, let them handle it. Let them handle it, right? If you're prioritizing survivability over the kill, you will go way farther in a game like Tarkov or Star Citizen or something where respawning and death actually matters. Losing kit, there's some sort of penalty in some way. Survivability over the kill.
I want to shout out the UE Pathfinders here because I've seen this in their videos, which if you haven't been to their I'll link their website too. If you haven't been to their website and watched their videos, super cool videos. But the Mighty Ape just had an engagement with them yesterday, I believe.
Yeah. And
they resonated the same thing I saw in the videos, which I think is really cool. And it's in the air, but goes with your whole kill versus, survivability thing. One of their the way that they attack in waves with ships, and it's if you ever come across the UE Pathfinder air, you'll see this. It'll happen, and you'll be like, what the fuck? But they will, if their shields are down, they will boogie, and a new guy will come in to take their place. And so what it does is it just creates this they were able to take down a Mighty Ape Hammerhead relatively quickly. Granted, it was half full, but still, that's a big ship deal to take down with fighters. And their tactic that they used of survivability over kill was just insanely effective. So props to them for that, man. That was
there's a lot of people that understand that, right?
Yeah,
and that's
really
what I think
cool. Yeah,
a lot of FPS
and that
guys
discipline,
don't.
right? That discipline to stop pulling the trigger and know that your buddy has your back. Like that's this whole podcast. That's what this whole thing is about. Teamwork over individual, glory, right? And man, are they fucking scary in the air, the Pathfinders.
And the glory is shared when you're in a team. Like yesterday, we had a down teammate at Jump Town, me and Echo. We were on the ground. It was 3 of us. And I was like, hey, Echo, I don't have the tools because the game, for some reason, always eats my multi-tools. I wake up and they're gone every time. And like sometimes I'll even put them in storage and they're still gone. I'm like, what the freak kind of, is there like a multi-tool cookie monster around just like nomming on my shit? I'm like, what the hell?
We'll give you this Chris Roberts answer.
Yeah. Magic. Yeah. So basically, I'm like, Echo, I don't have a way to get this guy up because the med pens weren't working. I'm like, can you come out and do it? And then as we're sitting there and I'm I don't have it, so now I got to be security. So I'm scanning, looking around. We're outside exposed in some boxes. Like there's so many angles we could get schwacked from, and we didn't really have full control of the area. One of our pilots was like, hey, there's a dude in pink armor on the ground. I'm like, ugh. So Echo's getting him up, and I just moved into position, got the communication. And then the glory was shared because we won. Like he got a teammate up. We had another gun in the fight, and I just did my job as security. And I went under the Jumptown thing, and I just schwacked this guy. But I also had the forethought. I've been practicing some individual actions with a P4 on single fire. You noticed it in some of the videos, Echo. And dude, I can place shots so much better and save ammo. There's a time and a place for every weapon, but I've been relying on that a lot more, and it's like night and day. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, so that's just something like a skill set, knowing the survivability as well, like knowing when to kill, when to not. So I was, as soon as like there was a threat of like, here's the threat, here's it's located, like I increased my teammates' survivability by chasing that kill because I got confirmation where it was. So I'd left to neutralize the threat. And then you were prioritizing the survivability of the teammates by getting people up. Like there's so many layers, just layers on layers, dude. It's like a 7-layer bean dip out there.
Yeah, you know? Right. Yeah, exactly.
There's just refried beans everywhere. So, can you hear me? You okay?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Mal, how are we doing on time?
It looks like about 45-ish minutes.
Sweet. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Jumptown because I know they changed a few things.
No, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like to me, the allure of Jumptown is not necessarily getting the drugs and making the money. And I know that's a big reason why a lot of people like Jumptown. For me, it's the fight, right? Like the fight to hold or take over that facility in a way that's not structured, right? And what I love about PvP and Star Citizen is that one, it's right up my alleyway, right? Like ground tactics, infantry gameplay, like all day. And the other thing is that people are so fucking unpredictable. Like you just like, yes, it's fun to do bunkers. That's where I kind of make my money is bunkers. NPCs are predictable. It's repeatable. I can go in, do a bunch of them, make a few 100,000, in a couple of hours and be good. Right. But then you come to Jumptown and you are fighting against actual human beings. And the human mind is such a unique tool that you just never know what's going to happen. And so for me, that's the fun of Jumptown. And it gets stagnant when we take it over. Like I want to leave and go to another server and take it over, or I want to stoke the flame to get people to come and attack us because I want that unpredictability. And I'll say this, if you're watching the podcast, you see us in the server, come attack us, right? Yeah. Like come bring the heat. Don't be a teddy bear. Don't cry and moan and complain that you can't get the drugs. Leave the server, find another server. Like if we're there, we're going to take it over or we're going to hold it. And, the byproduct of that is we'll get some drugs and make some money. But
sure. I think there's more value in the actual tactics, like taking it, holding it from someone. There's more training value, I think, than the actual credit value of the drugs.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, we started doing that. I think it's even smarter to go into servers with a smaller man team and really get you guys get that team some action. Do a very specific thing. If it's if you want to dogfight over Jumptown, like go in there with 3 or 4 guys and see if you can pick a good fight. And if you can't, bounce servers. Go find it. I'm
of the mind that Jumptown for me will always be a patrol on foot. Like I will never come in. I'm not a great fighter pilot. Like I'll be honest, I'm not. So I'm not going to sit there and
Oh yeah.
let somebody stretch their EP out while they're in a fighter when I'm clearly not going to give them a challenge at all, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'd rather be on the ground.
Play to your strength for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
playing to my strength.
The
So
the
for
point
me,
is you're
controlling into jump down.
specific about what you want to pull from it, right? If you
Right.
go like for example, I was at a sales conference this last weekend, and if I had a friend of mine, he's just like, I'll go to whatever, but I was like, I was challenged to write down a few things like. Be specific in what you want to get from this. So I opened my little notebook and I was like, I want to be better leader within a sales group. I'm looking for things that will help my closing ratio because I'm a salesman. That's my day job.
Mm-hmm.
So because I wrote that down and I had a very specific thing in mind, I was able to pull so much more than I had at other little sales conferences things. So same thing with like Jump Town. It's like, okay, what as a group, what can we work on? What's like specific what I want to do for this Jump Town? Oh, I want to patrol it. And Echo's like, I want to patrol in there. I'm like, fuck yeah. So now we're going to tailor that gameplay for the next 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, to that specific thing. So, if you're pilots and you want to dogfight in a fighter, like that's something specific. Go to Jump Town with that intention. If you're a grunt, go with this intention, and that way you're just more specific. Because go there to make money, yeah, that's cool, but there's so much more you can draw out of these events, And we even did that subconsciously. We were doing that with Xeno Threat. I want to go there and practice this tactic and force that PvE event around our tactic, and we did. We had X amount of people doing boxes. We had a dropship pilot, and we just made it work, and it worked, because we were specific about it. So there's a lot of value you can get now that there's fixed points of interests in a server.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, you could even here's the thing, like, if we've done a lot of DART, like our direct action rapid response tactics. We've done a lot of that. So it's like, what other skills could we hone? Could you say, I want to work on patrolling, and I want to get experience with long guns and communicating with other guys on long guns. Mm-hmm. So that's our objective now. Sorry, my nose is super itchy. But that's our objective now. It's like, let's go to Jump Town with the intent to coordinate long gun shots and to call out things and to work on our brevity using these guns. How do we set up? Where do we set up?
And you could do all of that without taking a single shot.
Yeah. Yeah, or a single box of drugs. It's not your objective. We're going there. We want to get this many kills. We want to stay alive for this amount of time. Like, go challenge yourself too. That's what. Have you ever heard of a guy named Karmacut? He plays Squad.
I have, yes.
Yes. So there's a new game out called Ready or Not. It's like that CQB kind of SWAT style game.
Oh yeah, the R6 ripoff.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. Yeah. You can tell it's unfinished, but I watched one of his videos, and he was like, I've been playing this game so much, and people are like, why are you still playing this game? He's like, because we are making our own challenges within the game. Mm-hmm. To do a whole breach without saying a word to each other, probably wouldn't advise in a real, you still need to talk, but like, that's a good challenge to have. That's a good way to flush out some practices and understand your boys.
Right.
So like, there's so much
in a closed loop communication system. Fucking talk.
Yeah, talk. Yeah, when you're in Discord, or a Guilded, talk.
It is what I will say in his defense, though. It is cool because then you have to take in-game cues, and another form of communication for me is body language.
Yes.
So being able to read, like, even if you are talking, being able to read your buddy, your battle buddies, or your teammates or your squad mates, like, body language, and understand what they're going to do before they even say it, cuts down on that communication vocally, like the audible communication. So there is some, I'm rolling my eyes at him, but there is there's some value.
And
there's some value there.
If it makes it fun for your boys, like that's
exactly
better. Like, that's cool.
I'm sure there's tons of people that listen to this podcast and roll their eyes like, I'm going to sit out a game and do recon. That's dumb. And I get it. It's not for you. We understand, but for us it is, and it's fun.
And that's what's lacking sometimes in a video game. Like, every first-person shooter, everyone's guns just like this, right? all the time, just like, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I challenge you. If you own a rifle, hold a gun like that for a fucking hour.
Yeah, just do it for 30 seconds.
You can get
minute,
past,
you're like, shut.
If you can get past a minute of doing that without your arms fucking dying, congratulations to you.
Right. And in the real world, like if Echo and I were to do CQB like today, right, together in real world, we would make it happen, and we would use so many like body language cues. Just this. This means like
head nods.
Yeah, head nods. I got work. Like if you're looking for a response from me, and I don't take my eyes off that hallway.
Yep.
Like Echo can't see the hallway. I can, and if I don't look at Echo, he knows I have work to do. But if I do this, and I kind of lower my muzzle a little bit and look at him, we don't have to say a word, and he knows that I have nothing. I don't have work there. There's nothing on that corner. If there was something, I'd be like this.
Yep.
Right? So those little cues in a video game you can't really do. So talk.
They're tough.
Yeah, they're tough. But yeah, that's so there's content being created by them. That was the point that Karmika was saying. I'm trying to extract all the value out of this game mode, this game, this situation, the scenario. So with Jumptown, like, you go there to make money, but like, what's the real value there? Teaching your guys to walk away. Maybe we should set up some ambushes for our guys. That's why we welcome people to come ambush us, because it's like, we got to be ready. Same thing.
Yeah, I love being ambushed at Jumptown.
Yeah.
Just last night we were getting ambushed left and right, and it, like, the reactions that we had to, it was just cool. It opened up, so like my fingers have been going a million miles an hour typing up new SOPs. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so if you're looking for that kind of gameplay, like, we want to make the most out of every play session we're in. And some people think we have sticks up our asses because we don't want to talk about the latest circus stunt that they did in our local circus. Like, while we're playing the game, we want to talk about what's pertinent to the gameplay. Now, there's times where we dick around, we do all that shit. We're not always serious. But if you catch us and we're doing something serious, like, if that's what you want, come find us. Because we can have a good time, joke around while we're still being extremely effective in the game. And sometimes we like to let people in, and it doesn't work out as much. And, they want to, like, your favorite example is someone talking about their cat's asshole.
I fucking hate Discord and streams of consciousness in Discord.
Right. That's why we require PTT.
It's the worst.
Right. I think that other channel that you made the other day, I think we should get rid of that one too. The no PTT channel. Like, why were you even? It was a peace offering to some people. We'll see, but yeah,
it's not used. I proved my point.
I went in there once, never again. No, I had to get. Sometimes you have to get reminded of why. Like, Discord is great, but if you want a superior communications platform, go with Gilded. I think we should get them to sponsor this shit. Go with Gilded.
Yeah. Go Gilded. Go TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak, yeah.
Here's my argument for Gilded.
Sure.
Do you like Discord? Do you like TeamSpeak?
I do.
Wouldn't it be really awesome if there was an application that did both those fucking things, but better? You should install Gilded.
There's more. Call now and you'll get 2 copies of Gilded for free.
I always hear the argument like, "Oh, Discord's it's easier. Discord's easier to use. It's a one click. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah,
yada yada yada.
We use it.
TeamSpeak. Oh, it's so hard. There's so much. I gotta pay for it, and it's like, but it's got a superior voice communication platform to like the most minute detail. And while Discord is great in its own way, and TeamSpeak is great in its own way, Gilded has somehow taken both of those programs, simplified them, but also made them a little bit better, and then combined them. So download Gilded and use Gilded. You're welcome, Star Citizen.
Yeah, Gilded's great. So to explain it, I don't
know why we haven't talked about Gilded. I want to do a whole episode on communications.
We should.
Just we should
do a whole
sit down. break out your fucking notebooks, people. We're talking about communication.
Brevity, discipline, what you should and shouldn't say, what platforms are out there to use.
Platforms, yes.
And then you got in-game communications. You got also, dude. Okay, now we know what we're doing next episode,
right, dude? Fucking, we got a big comm episode coming up, boys.
Yeah,
boys and gals.
Comms. Yeah, because people don't think it's that important, and then you're sitting there.
No, because then you get that guy's like, hey, I'm here. All right, I see this. I'm looking around, and doesn't take a breath. And how are you like?
Yeah, like we've all been there.
I have shit to say.
Whether you played on console before, or you've always been a PC gamer, or whatever game you've ever played, if it's multiplayer online, and you've been in a party chat with people or a team chat, like somebody comes in. You're trying to call something out. You're trying to get viable information. Some guy's fucking smacking on Doritos. Watch out, he's one shot.
A bird tweeting in the background.
Yeah, he's like, one shot. Oh, yeah, that was your guy? Dude, okay, a little quick story for you. Sorry, coworker, if you're out there, I won't say your name, but you probably still know me. Yeah. Oh, is that your
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Daft? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, watch out. Sorry, there's a guy behind you. Watch out.
Yeah, it's annoying as fuck, isn't it?
I couldn't hear it because there was a macaw in the background. Right, so I had a guy, too, I worked with, and he'd get on his, this was back in the archaic days before I got a PC, before I became God. Like, that's what PC gamers are compared to this. I was on a fucking console for years, having a good time, whatever, just casually playing every game. So we're trying to play, I think it was Rainbow Six Siege. And this kid joined our party and just fucking smacking on Doritos, dude, in our ear. And I just lost it. I had a rough day, and I was like, stop eating your goddamn Doritos. I said a lot more expletives, but...
oh, my God.
I just went off. For, the next 5 minutes, I was like, holy fucking goddamn, you sit here all day. And I get off work, I got to listen to your shit. And then he left the party and never joined us again. So... there was a cost for that, but
I will say that unrealistically, it drives me up. It drives me up a wall if you are telling me every fucking thing you're doing in the game.
And dude, I've done that before, and I'm sorry.
I have too. No, I have as well.
Because you and I, we've talked about this, but I cultivated real radio etiquette habits in the real world. I know exactly where my comm switches were, and I had some that I'd put down here too. I had a friend of mine say the enemy could even see you reach up for a radio, and they would know you're the leader. We could
go all day on those little minute details, dude.
Right, real world stuff, right? So where do I reach? So I had this down. So okay, I'm about to make a transmission. I would place my finger on the button because I had a dual switch. And wherever it was, I can still do it in my mind, right? So I'd place my finger on the switch and I would verify, yes, this is the correct channel I want. Okay. And I would sit there and breathe for a minute, formulate what I want to say, wait for a clear space in the radio chatter, and then, hey, this is me, hey, you, this is me, blah, 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 get it out there, or whatever was needed, right? Follow the proper brevity, and then wait, and making sure you're cool, calm, and collected, too, even after you've done something crazy. Okay, breathe for a second. I don't want to have my voice shaking. I don't want these guys to think I'm a bitch, when I come over the radio. Mm-hmm. That's important. And if you're sitting there stuttering and shit, people laugh at you. Just a
preview into that comm episode, right? I mean, when I speak, I'm speaking to who I need to speak to. And I'm not looking for, if I don't need a response, 90% of the time, I don't need a response. Hey, we're in this location. And that's it. That's the end of my I don't need to know. Yeah. Okay, I heard you, whatever, right? I don't need to know any of that. So once I've said my piece, that's it. I move on. I'm on to the next fucking, procedure in my mind that I got to run through.
Yeah, unless you hear specifically Echo, say again your last, it was garbled.
Right. And then that perks me up. If somebody says my name and then sends a transmission, I know I need to listen to that. Otherwise, I'm drowning out everything else, right? It is not for me. And unless that's useful for if we're in, a command net or ops net or whatever, where all the element leaders are sort of communicating. There's still some communication there that's going on. But if they don't say echo, I'm not listening. Right? I hear it, but it's just, yada, yada, yada. It's Charlie Brown, wah 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 wah
Right,
wah
right.
wah. You know.
Yeah, and then sometimes your brain will subconsciously do it. Like, 'cause all of a sudden I find myself tuning into a radio transmission between two other parties, and I know that it's affecting me and my objective of missions. I'm like, wait, that's pertinent to me. I was like, I'm like talking to a guy smoking and joking, and then I'm like, it just like spider sense, like, whoa.
Yeah,
like, this is
right.
important.
Keywords, another.
Yeah, keywords.
Dude, we could go for like two. Like it might be a 2-episode thing because I could go for fucking 4 hours on comms. I really could.
Yeah, and I think what I was getting at, I'll finish that thought, is I had this system that I had practiced so many times to make sure my comm etiquette was up to par, but it was very real world, very tangible. So when I'm sitting at a desk with 3 monitors and like I have one ear in Discord and like it's just a new environment that I haven't really thought about. We've thought about a few things, but like, I'm like, and I have such free ability to talk to everybody that I like
it's
just
muscle memory.
Yeah,
of years of gaming for us, right? Like just blurting out. Like, I used to do.
He's
esports,
over here. He's over there.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. So esports are very quick, short, communicate like boom, 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 and sometimes you're talking over each other.
Yeah,
to a degree, but it's in a way like it's a smaller group of dudes. Like maybe 4 or 5 guys. So that's
when the flow is good.
Short bursts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you got 3, 4 dudes.
But when you're sitting in a Discord channel with 10 fucking plus people, get fucked. I'm either muting myself or I'm going somewhere else. Like I am not listening to that shit while I'm trying to move 5,000 meters, And
he's not trying to be a dick, people, ladies.
No.
He's not trying to be a jerk, folks. He's just trying to protect his brain from having an aneurysm.
Yeah, because I'm old. Like I can only process so much shit now.
That could happen at any moment.
Not you, it's me. But
Echo,
it does frustrate me.
Echo and I were at that age where a certain combination of flashy lights on our monitor and also voices in our head, we're like, get the
high cholesterol, heart problems. I mean, aneurysms. Those are real problems for us.
The Windows like reboot,
exactly.
Shut down.
Yeah.
So let's do a comm episode, man, because we have some techniques and some tools that are out of game, that are in game, that are all sorts of stuff.
Gilded.
Yeah, Gilded.
Download Gilded.
Also,
I'm gonna link Gilded. I'm linking Gilded everywhere. Fucking download Gilded.
Do it. And like we're gonna get them to sponsor this. So next time we're gonna get them. Maybe.
I don't give a shit if they do or not. Download fucking Gilded.
Yes, it'll save so much time. And if you want to stick with TeamSpeak too, like that's another tier above Gilded, I think. If Gilded and Discord had a baby. See, you see, kids, when
I've gone back and forth between using Discord and TeamSpeak, and then what's the pros and cons? That Gilded, everyone's like, oh, it's a beta, it sucks, and it's like, well, does it though?
Right now we have 1 foot in Discord and 1 foot and an elbow and a hand in Gilded. We're more committed to Gilded, but we still find uses for Discord because it's a little more casual. So, but yeah. We'll go over that next time.
Download Gilded.
What else? I think we covered everything today.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us make your ears bleed for, I don't know how long we've been going for.
Right. I guess in other news, I got a beard trim. I can actually.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
I can actually eat a mustache without having 40% of my. Or I can actually eat something without 40% of my mustache being involved.
Yeah. Carry the one that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have to share every meal with my mustache. Not anymore.
Good for you.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a kick-ass fucking New Year, and now we're ready for 2022, man. So.
Let's rock it, dude. Let's bring it in. CIG, I'm pumped. I'm ready. Let's go. Star Citizen FPS community. Let's fucking do this. 2022, year of the FPS. And
Preach, brother. Preach.
Let's do it.
Well, that's it from us. This has been Stuck in the Nail, episode 6. I'm Daft Hobbit.
I'm Echo.
And we'll see you on the ground.
On the ground.